Stop practicing sample answers to sample questions online when you take the Duolingo English test for the read then speak and the listen then speak. It's not helping you. There are tons of questions. There's so much information for sample questions and sample answers online that you can go and look at. And you can read each one of them and you can practice them one by one. But it isn't helping you because it's not connected to your experience. So, for example, if the question is talk about a beautiful place that you visited in the past, and the sample question goes into talking about Machu Picchu or when they visited the Galapagos Islands, how are you going to take that sample answer and apply it to your own situation? Okay, here, try this question. I'm going to put you on the spot. Ready, go. How was that? It's pretty tough, right? These questions are very, very hard. Everybody's in the same situation. Today's video is called Core Ideas. We're going to cover 8 basic points that you can answer by practicing and preparing again and again and again, and be able to apply them to these 2 particular question types: read then speak and listen then speak, so that you can ace them. Remember, read then speak shows up 1 time on the test. Listen then speak shows up 2 times. So they both carry a lot of weight when it comes to your production score. So we have to do well in these questions, and we can't be caught off guard. So the idea of practicing sample questions that don't apply to you can't help you improve. It'll just make you more nervous. It'll make you more worried, wondering, how can I possibly figure out a way to speak about any type of question that might come up? From my own experience teaching this in classrooms, there's an 85% chance that the question that you're going to receive is going to be a personal question, something about you, a TPO question. Time, place, occasion. There's a 15% chance that you're going to get a different question type, which is a question type that's topic-based. And I'll talk about that in another video. So we'll look at the core ideas, we'll answer them one by one, and at the end of this video, we'll also look at some sample questions that show up, and we'll do a little run-through exercise, and we'll see which core idea can be applied to each question that comes up. And I guarantee you this is going to help you a lot. I've seen a lot of students struggle with these questions. I would say that the production scores are usually the toughest ones to bring up. And I've seen people that practice these core ideas, and by the time they've run through them again and again, they have so much more confidence when any question type comes up because they practice these ideas again and again. Let's talk about a real world example about being prepared or unprepared. Imagine you're going on a job interview and you don't really prepare for the job interview. Maybe it's a job that you want, and you're thinking, I have a pretty good personality. I got a good smile. I'm funny. I'll say things that will impress you. And you sit down, you haven't prepared at all because you're thinking, I know how to speak well. The hiring manager says something to you like, talk about your strengths. And you're thinking, oh, okay, well, I'm a team player and I like people and I'm a hard worker. And you come up with answers that are a little bit formulaic and you're doing okay. And he says, what about your weaknesses? And you do okay there. And he says, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And now you start to think, I hope that I'll be with your company and that I will. And you see what's beginning to happen to you when you don't prepare? It's a symptom called dyspnea. When you're in a situation where you're not prepared, your heart rate starts to go up. And then there's a rush of adrenaline that starts to go through your system. Guess what else happens? You have shortness of breath. When all those 3 things happen, the physiological response is you lose your memory and you can't think. And you're not doing well. You're not acing the interview. You didn't prepare for question types. You decided to wing it. That's like doing a presentation in front of your class with no notes. Stick around in this video. Hope you enjoy the core ideas. Grab yourself a cup of coffee and let's go. So here at DET Study, We want to make sure that we're giving you valuable information that you can apply to the questions so that you can pass the test. What about this question type is hard for you? Is it that you panic when the question comes up and you can't think? Do you need more preparation time? Do you have a hard time coming up with ideas? Leave a comment. We're here to help, and we're producing videos that will help you get to where you need to go. The purpose here is to talk about core ideas of life, 8 basic concepts of life that when we speak about and practice again and again, they can be applied to a lot of the questions that come up in the personal category. Core ideas are basically life pillars, experiences that you've had, key moments, memories, and dreams. The first one is called book. Talk about a great book that you've read. Why did you like it, and what did you learn? This is really important. Everybody has a book in their life that they read at some point. Maybe it wasn't recently. It could be when you were a kid or a teenager or a young adult. Talk about that. You're going to want to be able to speak about a book that you've read. This type of question can be applied very well to the questions that come up. Hobby. Describe your hobby. Why do you continue doing it? What is your hobby? Maybe you like kayaking. Maybe you play the violin. Maybe you're a Netflix aficionado. Whatever that is, think about your hobby. This is something you want to lock in and really know how to speak about. The next one is called person. Talk about a person that you respect in your life. Could be one of your parents. It could be a teacher that you had. It could be somebody from history. Speaking about a person that you respect in life is a real key core idea. Subject. What was your favorite subject in school? Why do you consider it important? For me, it was English. It wasn't math for me. Maybe it was for you. Think about your favorite subject, and I'll show you how it applies later. All right, the next 4. Job. What was your dream job? Or what is your dream job or career that you hope to have in the future? Maybe you're in your dream job now, a place that you really love. Maybe it's something that you want to do in the future. You've been thinking about it. That's why you're studying. You want to become a flight attendant. You want to become a pilot, a doctor, a designer. Think about that. The next one's called place. Where's a place you really enjoyed visiting? When you were a kid, maybe you went to Disneyland. Maybe it was a trip overseas you took to Europe, a cruise. It could be in your own town or your own city. Think about that one. The next is called memory. Talk about a memorable experience that happened when you were young. The first time you went on an airplane. When you learned to ride a bike. It could be good. It could be a bad experience. Something that's in your memory that you can talk about when you were young. And the last one is called holiday. What is an important national holiday or tradition in your country? In America, we just passed Thanksgiving. That's a big one. Christmas is coming. We also have New Year's. Whatever that tradition is and that holiday is, you want to learn to be able to speak about. We had book, hobby, person, subject, job, place, memory, holiday. 8 different core ideas. Now, let's take a look at each of them one by one and learn how to speak about them. So here's the question on book. Here's how we want to answer each question. Put a 30-second timer up for yourself and just do it in this fashion. It doesn't have to be too fancy. Hit the start. I'd like to talk about a great book that I read, why I liked it, and what I learned from it. This book was called The Outsiders. It was written by Essie Hinton when she was 15 years old. I remember reading it back in elementary school. One reason I loved it is the characters were very great and memorable. They were teenagers. It was a book about growing up, and I was growing up at that time. Another reason is that I had a fantastic teacher. Her name was Nancy Atwell, and later in the future, she wrote many books and opened a school. Not too fancy, but do it again and again and again. Sit in front of a mirror. Practice it with your friend. Whoever that person is, just do it again and again and again until you perfect it. Let's try another one. I'm not going to do all these, but you get the idea. Let's try mountain biking. 30 seconds. We hit the start button. I'd like to describe my hobby and why I continue doing it. This is mountain biking. I've been doing this for probably 30 years. One reason is it's really great exercise. I feel physically stronger, my breathing is better, my cardiovascular system is stronger. I love it. Another reason is that there are a lot of peaceful views. When I mountain bike, I get to the top of every mountain and I have a view of the valley below. and it's a beautiful experience. We're not focusing on the sample questions. We're not studying sample questions. We're studying core ideas. The problem is not the question. The problem is that we have not practiced core ideas enough. We don't know enough about ourselves to be able to speak about ourselves. Last one. I'd like to talk about my dream job and career that I hope to have in the future. This would definitely be to own a small bike shop. First of all, it's been my hobby for 30 years. I've been mountain biking for a long time. And if I did a job like that, it wouldn't feel like work. It would be exciting. Secondly, I'm a very decent mechanic. I've been working on bikes and repairing them for years. I've spent years fixing and repairing, so fixing other people's bikes for business would be something that I'd be very capable of. File is downloadable. You're just going to go through it again and again and get that kind of practice. It's going to help you. Now, let's move on to the last and most important part. All right, now let's bring it all together. This again is for the read, then speak, and listen, then speak. And these are personal question types. We'll get into the topic questions at another time, and we'll use specific techniques on how to get through the whole question. For right now, what we're doing is we're only trying to figure out how I can apply my core ideas to random questions that come up. You ready? Let's try to do this together. I'm going to bring up a question, and then we're going to figure out which of the core ideas can we use. Discuss a speech or lecture that you heard. Which core idea could we use? I heard a lecture from a person I respect. Could be a teacher, could be somebody, a boss. It could be a lecture that you heard about a job that you're hoping to get in the future. And you could go into the particulars about that. Talk about a goal or ambition that you have. That's an easy one. A job, a dream, a goal. We've practiced this in our core ideas. I cannot emphasize this enough. Discuss something you were thankful for recently. Thankful. What were we thankful for? Holiday, Thanksgiving, tradition. We were thankful for a job that I just got. Okay? We can go through these questions afterwards, but understanding how to apply the core ideas is important. Let's do a few more. Describe a typical day for you when you are not working or studying. Remember, we don't want you to get nervous. We don't want that adrenaline to rush through your system where you panic and you can't think. You have 90 seconds to speak, but we're only worried about now connecting the dots here between core ideas and matching it up to a question. So what is a typical day? What could we think about? We could think about a hobby. A typical day for me when I'm not working or studying is I skateboard. I love skateboarding. I've been skateboarding for 15 years. I learned back when I was in elementary school. And then we get into these questions afterwards. A place, you visited a place that was unusual for you. That could be something different as well. Describe something you have done that you would not normally do. You could talk about your hobby. You could talk about that I read books. I don't normally read books, but I did. In fact, I just picked up my favorite book called The Hobbit. And you can go into details about that because you practiced that. Talk about something that upset you. What happened? What did you do about it? What can we connect? A job. I didn't get that job that I really wanted. I got into a fight at a holiday party. Recently we had Thanksgiving and the cousins and I had a political discussion and it didn't go well. Talk about the last time you went shopping. All right, think about this one. What did you buy? Think, but don't think. Hobby. What's your hobby? You're a tennis player? You bought a tennis racket. You bought a new video camera. If you are a bike rider, you bought a new bike seat. We haven't even gotten to these questions, which we will. Because what happens to a lot of people when they take these tests, when they answer these questions? They're finished way too early. Why we're even doing this is so that we don't panic, we can smoothly answer the question, and we can speak for longer. This is going to affect your fluency score. We'll talk about that later. Describe someone who's well organized, a person you respect. For me, it was my English teacher. Describe a factory or office you visited. This one might be tough. Let's see, a factory or office. What could we connect to it? Oh, our hobby. I'm a golfer, and I recently visited a golf factory. It was amazing. We went there on a field trip with our school. We saw how all the clubs were made. Talk about your favorite season of the year. Holiday. It's the fall. My favorite season of the year is the fall. And the reason is that it's Thanksgiving season. I love Thanksgiving. One thing that particularly stands out for Thanksgiving is it's a great time to get together with your family. You could talk about place. Summer is the best. The first time I went to Miami, because that's what you put for place, that's what you're connecting to season. I hope this has been useful. I think it is really instrumental when you're working on the Duolingo English Test because it has such importance when you come to this question. You want to go through this smoothly. You want to be able to have it roll off your tongue because you've practiced it 5, 10, 15, 20 different times. So you know that if it's this, and have somebody work with you and say, okay, tell me the place, tell me your hobby, tell me your job, and do it again and again. And you'll find that there is a good fit between core ideas and being able to answer these types of questions. Again, don't waste your time on sample question answers. They're not going to help you. Thanks everybody for watching. If you are interested in more videos like this, please hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. And if you want to find out the 2 best months to take the Duolingo English Test, check out this video right here.